Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and this is Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. Bah! OBS Gen seems to be working just fine. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil for Misha and Shizune. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yamako, hisao? You seem to be a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again, and being crash-tackled outside of my classroom. Fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? Never better. For a brief moment, I consider telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. After all, it's not their problem. Besides, if there's anything I'm good at, it's ignoring my physical and mental health. Besides, the tea here is lovely. I can't tell why, but for some reason I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think they're buying it. But in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here, don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious, like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things that they don't feel comfortable speaking about. And I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in this school? You both seem to know your way around here pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of the high school as well, and moved to the dormitories when she did, if memories serve me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then. Since I moved, yes, Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right? Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them, though I'm guessing that Lily's blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at their scars. With the immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls pack up their lunches as efficiently as they set them out. I guess I'd better be off. Are you going to go with hisao, Hanako? Hanako looks up at me, and for a second, I can see that she is considering skipping class, maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at in the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous, too. But I push the feeling aside, trying to be as natural as I can. We should hurry, then. Class has already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane, Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quickly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. Hisao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. It was a lovely lunch. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now? Yes? Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the classroom and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy partially ignored. Practically. There's definitely something going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it is some form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it's a perk of being afforded unique students at this school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person, despite the weird first impression I got. And the material is relatively interesting. However, the way the teacher he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels different. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Mutao is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier and marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation, since there is nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I'd do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of a shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routined. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Mutao looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation, but I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people, I mean, other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid, behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says that same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness, when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's still not like you can ignore her face, but... Hello? I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. I assume it's Shizune and Misha being pissed off at me. Hi guys. You guys are probably angry. I mean, while there's no reason for you upset at me being friends with other people, there is the fact that you guys are expecting me to go somewhere with you and I kind of just blew you off. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight and enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the desk, teacher's desk, with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Mutao, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general slumps in her chair. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes. But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little. But that time, we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left, and so you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president thought that a teacher would know if there was plywood. Was she wrong? Mutao looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. What should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time. We are so busy. She holds her head with both hands, looking as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching those things, but there is so much to do and we are falling behind schedule. Mutao looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help? He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression, as if trying to say, "Go make some friends." I'm not sure if they still want to be my friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Ichan. You're really nice. Okay, cool. So I don't mind helping. I just figured you guys wouldn't want my help anymore, want to be friends with me anymore. She pauses. She does a double take and then points at me with her finger, yelping, "Ah!" and looks very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's He-chan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. Joke's on you, I don't have fun! We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, He-chan? I mean, I did stab some people and the dude caught my fucking meth lab. It's like, damn it. No, I'm not. Is He-chan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Mutao sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need? Here is a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications whether or not I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, He-chan. Try to be quick. We are in the stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces off out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Okay, thanks, man. Please don't sound so fucking smug about it, man. Looking at the list of a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with a small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's. I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right-hand side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept, or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in the sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence, as I hear the voice of jagged teeth gnawing into bones. You know, I was making a joke about the food thing. I didn't know somebody was actually eating here. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform. What's the difference? I didn't realize there was a difference between a boy's and girl's uniform. I mean, isn't all clothes just whoever can wear them as long as you look good in them? I thought it was just like, hey, here's a bunch of clothes, wear it cool. I am terrible at understanding fashion, apparently. Okay, what was I reading? Okay, we have a fork between her toes. I definitely do not have the dexterity to do that. And a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. What are you eating? What is that? What are you eating? It's rice and... Can't say I've really liked rice. Then again, I think rice is a big thing in Japan. A lot of... What is that noise? Is that coming from the game or real life? Maybe that was the neighbors? I don't know. But yeah, what do you like? And I can't tell what the other dish... I can't say I really like rice. I don't know. I'll say this. If you guys ever cook rice, you can take the... You guys know banana peppers, right? Like the pickled banana peppers? You can pour like a shot glass worth of the banana pepper brine, you know, like the pickle juice sort of stuff, but for the banana peppers. Pour that into rice as you cook it. It gives it an interesting flavor. But again, I'm not really much of a rice person. But yeah, what's the rest of the meal? Also, we already had lunch earlier. It should be too early for dinner. Why are you eating now? Also, how would I not see you? You're right in front of a window! I mean, apparently I am like horrible Where's Waldo. Even though I played like those little Find Kitty Cat games on Steam, I think at some point it'd be kind of cool to have like Where's Waldo books. Heck, I used to have like a dinosaur book sort of thing my mom had gotten me, but of course that, through reasons I've already explained, that book is MIA. But I've looked it up online. It would cost $45. I'll probably get it back one day. Just because, even if it wouldn't be the exact same physical one. Still, it was a shame that I lost that book. And everyone's like, Lunar, why are you so obsessed with books? I'm like, I like reading, okay? And I like certain books. Okay? I'm allowed to like books. What is that fucking noise? I don't know if that's the game. I mean, it's recurring, so but it doesn't sound like it's coming from the headset. But then again, the headset's covering my ears, so I don't know. I'm just saying it. I don't know what that sound is supposed to be. Like, what is that noise? Okay. I was reading stuff. Okay, hey. I know you're in the middle of eating, but I'll wait till you finish chewing your current morsel of food, and then you can, like, introduce your name. I mean, heck, while you're chewing your food, I can say my name. I'm Hisao Nakai. A name that I don't know how to pronounce. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what makes me aback even more. Yeah, it was kind of a jump scare. I didn't expect a person here. Then again, I once played a game where I got jump scared by Corone, the VTuber, and I was like, I got jump scared by the most adorable person on the planet. Like, I feel sad, and like, I'm a disappointment. Then again, that's something I should be used to. It's like, hey, it's Lunar! He's the disappointment that's failure at everything, and just generally worthless person, because he sucks at everything. It's great. Whatever, okay. Again, what are you eating? I didn't get to read that! Fuck! Can I go back? Is there a log? I didn't text history, probably. Okay. Okay. Yes? Okay. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in the corner, very still, but I still somehow took her as a pile of furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. Maybe we just need a Red Bull. Would Red Bull fix that? I think Red Bull would fix that. Return. Cool. But yeah, you'd think you'd notice someone sitting in front of a window. I mean, it's not like it's nighttime. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes, like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me with her mouth wide open and ready to accept the fork. Why am I thinking of that in a sexual way now? I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. Well, yeah, of course I kind of stopped mid-sentence. You scared me! The weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. It's like, nope. It's like I'm not actually here. Which of the classrooms is more of a liminal space? It's like, which of these classrooms most belongs in the back rooms? So no, the new generations are scared of wallpaper. Or is it just isolation and loneliness? What makes the back rooms the scariest thing at all? Is it the kenophobia of a fear of an expansive place? The isolation and loneliness? The entities? The terrible wallpaper? The lack of ice-cold Pepsi? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting. Why do I feel like I'm saying that word wrong? suspecting my observation was false. You are pretty... What is that sound? Is that my phone? I don't think my phone's ever made that noise before. Is it my phone? Doesn't appear to be my phone. What is making noises? You are pretty observant, I guess it does. But who are you? The girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Hisao. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are. That's cool. We can just high five or something instead, okay? That's very nice. What? She's being sarcastic. I can be sarcastic back. You know, me and her can have a real heart-to-heart. Okay, I don't think she's going to laugh at that because it's not obvious that I'm dying of a heart condition. I don't know, maybe if I like hold 4 Red Bulls at a time, it'll make it more obvious. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. She is. She's being sarcastic. And I was trying to out-sarcasm her. The idea is that if I go direct without sarcasm her, especially about such a jagged, conversation topic, it should make her laugh. And everyone's like, that's not how it works. I think that's how it works. I mean, under those circumstances, I would expect that my response would have made her laugh and smile. And everyone's like, we can see why you're alone. It's like, fuck you. I'll just be myself. Yes, I always am. I wait for the person who likes that, and the answer is that's nobody. That's fucking no one. Like, whatever, I don't care. It's cute. Okay. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. But yeah, some people use dark humor and sarcasm to deal with emotionally upsetting things. I myself tend to do that sometimes. I don't know if it's possible to have an overdose on sarcasm. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and now gazing yearningly back at her food. She's bored of me already! Either that or I was just too much of a handful. I don't know if this counts as being flirty or being an asshole. I'm trying! And everyone's like, again, we can tell why you suck at life. I'm like, I'm trying to make the person smile. I mean, obviously this is not how you would react to most people in this situation, but given the fact that she expressed a very openly sarcastic fucking way of speaking, I'm trying to match her wavelength, okay? So it's not I'm trying to be mean to her, it's that I'm trying to match what her wavelength is and talk to her in a way that, in which we can both have a really fun conversation. Now, whether or not she would actually appreciate that or not, or be offended by it, again, depends on the personality. But I'm just approaching this in the way that feels natural for me. Can I continue my lunch if you don't mind me? I won't mind you. That's fine. I understand you're already bored of me. I'll leave you to your rice and whatever that other part of the food was. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal you eat after lunch before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing. Like, sometimes I'll just say a morning, evening, depending on just whatever's most convenient. I mean, at this point, it would just be easier just to say lunch. It's like I'm having a second lunch. It's like, oh, yeah, I don't have a word for it. We should all have strawberry. I don't think you are supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. Why didn't you eat it at lunchtime? I have curry, and it's very delicious. Okay, curry. Yeah, that's a pretty popular thing. Just not here. Not where I live. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? I'm not too familiar with curry. I think I've tried it a couple times. I can't say it's been the most digestibly friendly food I've ever eaten, but for any of you out there that have eaten curry, what types have you had? How often do you have it? And what do you think is the best type and how to eat it? You know, like, is there certain vegetables or meats or certain seasonings that you eat it with? Is there a certain time of the day it's better than other times? Like, would you consider it more of a dinner food, a breakfast food, a whatever? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I have lots of problems inside. But I don't think they'd send me here for the issues in my head. I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Well, I know you started this conversation by saying I was observant, but apparently you are the king in this matter, Ren. I sincerely think that you must have some Where's Waldo books around somewhere, and I wouldn't mind sitting next to you and reading the Where's Waldo books. And everyone's like, your idea of a hobby to do with someone is boring as fuck. I'm like, I get it, I'm boring. Like, oh, I'm Lunar. I would like to sit next to someone and look at a Where's Waldo book with them while having casual conversation and listening to Tool. Or like Metallica or something. Yes, I get it. I am lame. Ren cuts me off before I answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition. Or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. Like I said, if there's anything I'm really good at, it's completely ignoring my own physical and mental health, and also not bringing it up to other people. Heck, in general, I talk a lot in these videos, but in real life I don't really talk much to people, or tend to be very sociable. Even though I'm not really bad at being sociable, I just don't really have much occasion for it. That being said, when I do talk to people, I tend to do more listening than I do talking. And when I do talk, I tend to avoid talking about any of my feelings, or anything personal, or anything bad. And I tend to let the other people sort of steer the conversation. And anytime a conversation tends to go toward anything that is a personal matter for me, or anything that would be something bad, or a bad experience for me, or something that would involve my thoughts or feelings, I tend to redirect the conversation away from myself. Again, I feel that the developers of this game might have the same personality and psyche as I do, which honestly, yeah, I think the people who made this game, and I don't know how many people worked together, it might have been one, it might have been 100. I don't know, maybe it was like 4 people. I'm just saying, I get the impression that they have the same personality and mindset and feelings I do about life. So, I'm trying not to make that sound like an insult, but I'm just saying, if you feel the same way I do about things, then hopefully you see a doctor or something. Or, things pick up. It's okay. Everything will be fine. I'm fine. Everyone's fine. Everything's good. No problems. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Ren keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Ren keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. That's fine. The problem must be in your pants. I don't even think that counts. That's hilarious. This is messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? She's partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply to something. I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it more like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the bands would have been much more scandalous. What's with the reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you, just I collect people and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies anyway. But I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else, or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it was a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. I am addicted to Red Bull. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? No, you don't. You're like, hey, I'm just Hisao. Now maybe wear a necklace that says hey, if you find me unconscious on the ground, stab me with this pin to reactivate my heart. As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, and even when she eats. The distance and shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things. But after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone, and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can say. Not else what else I could say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bit of her meal up to her mouth. I look down at my haul, double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. I mean, there's desks here. Just get a fucking fire axe so we can make some plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping? You are very good at the deadpan cold delivery of sarcasm, Rin. Eh? Eto? I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. She's giving us a deadpan, flat, very straight, very dry delivery of a sarcastic joke that's meant to basically, she's being teasing. She's teasing us. And it's like, the delivery is very solid. Probably helps that there's no actual fucking voice acting. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I don't know, I think I might have taken that a step further. I'm like, actually, yes I do, but not today, I don't have time. Maybe I'll stop back tomorrow. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Ren. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. Thank you. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine. Then I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rain looks back at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped out between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face. Maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? Yeah, it did not actually jump scare me. It's very obvious that they were very strongly trying to do that. I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. We're gonna have a heart attack, aren't we? Crap. Then again, just about did when the Corona thing. I'll have to reshare those in the community post at some point. It's too bad I can't make a playlist of them. Somehow she had gotten jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminded me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention. But Misha is visibly excited. Aren't you guys busy? No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hichan. I didn't take that long at all. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things. I was just going to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Hichan. Who is in there with you, I wonder? Nobody. I just talk to myself a lot. Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. I assume Rin hid? With Shizune's diligence and aptitude, the insolence of daring to deface a school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Why would you care? It's not damaging anything! Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. I don't understand why anyone's angry at me. I'm not dating anyone yet! There's no reason for anyone to be upset at me. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if somehow it's my fault Red is sleeping on one of the tables. Hope she's not getting funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Ren's voice coming from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Ren directly behind it, looking at us, with half interested, half sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka? What do you think you were doing? You're absolutely not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. What, did you guys think we were fucking? Her hair's not even messed up. It sure is suddenly very crowded here. I didn't know I was this popular. Ah, she's taller than everybody. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune and Mizune, scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Ren, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Ren looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Ren nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Doesn't even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off Misha in tow. Ren frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to an unforeseen future. I am about to ask what project she has, and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art room class. She probably does like a huge painting, and just like holds the art brush with her feet. Though I think it's not, like, the issue isn't how is she using the dexterity of holding the stuff like that, or using the leg. It's that how do you stand on one leg? Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint that's lying on the floor, next to the table she was sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. With that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following, since there is little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15, 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Ren strolls on beside me with the uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below. Trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai. What a happy coincidence. Tezuka-ku, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who doesn't acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me whom he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively, because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. Set the can down. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but I'd want for you to do is keep an eye on is everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that already. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfers students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been neither the school track nor even the pool. So I'd like to know if you've taken up exercising as I've asked. Of course I haven't. But his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me. Not as much. I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here. So, don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, and with some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without warning. For Grin's permission he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is the habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about it from now on? Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment, then shrugs and smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who's probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation. See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer. I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Or are you listening? It comes out more accusatory. than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her, I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be heavily ignorant about confidentiality too. Talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're from my heart. Will they make you better? They'll keep me from dying. They won't make me better. They'll just stop me from dying. No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. And by worse, I mean able to keep breathing. Ren keeps looking at me for a little while longer. She neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all of this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't even sorted my feelings out about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in this school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall. But some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seems to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and the base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of tangents, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. The girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she's lost me on a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure out that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because the paint has to be painted, and then has to dry, and then has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project. You did this. Yes, yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness.
What, we're just gonna ask, what are you painting? There's like a dude cheering, and there's like red stuff there, and there's a guy who's constipated. And then there's a guy who's like singing System of a Down songs. So, yeah. Okay, all jokes aside, I assume they're supposed to represent, I don't know, birds? That's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blushed really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet! I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is. But maybe I'm used to it now. I think the bigger issue is, how do you, like, if you're painting, you have to be using one of the legs in the air? It means you gotta stand on one leg, and heck, I mean, even with my arms to try to balance me out, I tend to fall over. And then again, I have a really bad sense of balance. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist. But seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon's light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think. It's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in the dim light. Do you think it's flat? It's kind of hard to not be flat with a two-dimensional picture. Well, the paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, you know, flat. Like some people are. No substance. No meat where there should be some. You know, I'm just thinking of boobs while you say this. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky, as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Ren sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems, like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I did have Bell's palsy at one point. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new, monotone hue. Ren sets to work every now and then, asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone the girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision, down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of grain. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other grain. This grain. Green is grain. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corner of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? I don't want to fuck up your painting. No, it's just I have no idea. It's okay, because I got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. So add a little purple. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed to me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. Oh, we're hanging out with Bob Ross. Just realized that. Well, Bob Ross with tits. And a cute face. Bob Ross, but, a cute girl. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy. But Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. We stay there late in the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into an unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting. After a long pause, and the culture shock still hasn't faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore,
So maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only person present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over the hallway yesterday is running on the track lively, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse oppressing the poor girl to jog, just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. And even with certain things like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she'd remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy. I knocked you over in the hallway yesterday. How could I forget such a, blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that again. Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine. Great. I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh, I was expecting someone in the nursing staff, to be honest. What are you saying? I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid you would have someone to watch me or my every move, unless you are here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I had seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. So, why are you down here? Emmy strikes a dramatic pose. Training. For what? Track. Ah, I see. You're on the track team then. Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. And modest about it too. And you should join up. It's good exercise, you know. I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. Nah, I'm not even sure I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organized sports, you know. That's true, I never really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends, but that's really all the reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not that into the whole organization thing? But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run together, huh? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you going to warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you always should warm up. Bad as hell. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, then I don't even have to stretch my legs.
As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go! So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting the balls of your feet rather than your heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple laps a day and a slow walk pretty quickly. Emmy keeps running and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. I'm not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. Well, the important thing is you started, right? Next time you just have to try to hold out longer, and then longer, and then longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I'm going to get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly. Nah, I've got plenty of time. I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug. Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Hisao. Oh yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning experiment was a success or failure, but I'll admit that I feel slightly good about getting out this morning. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to keep getting better, right? Practice makes perfect, or something like that. It's nice at least to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up. I head back to the dorms to wash and to change in my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower.